Hey guys, it's Kirsty and welcome to my top 10 autumn reads. Now it's September, which means that schools have started back, the leaves are falling, it's getting a bit colder, especially here in the UK because we never really have a summer anyway. The nights are getting, longer. So I thought I'd do a top 10 autumn reads. So this is by no way a Halloween list, like creepy reads and stuff. I did one of those last year, and since I haven't really read that many creepy books since then, there's no point in me doing another video. I'm not really a mood reader. I just read what I want when I want. So I read contemporaries in the winter and dark fantasy in the summer, and I don't know, I'm all over the place, but I am not a mood reader. But these are some books that if you are a mood reader, I think that you would enjoy. So first book that I have is Stags by M.A. Bennett, and this is about a young girl called Greer, and she gets sent to a boarding school. Underlying this boarding school is this cult. There's murder mysteries and it's just so dark, crazy. I mean, this is probably the first YA thriller that I have ever read, and I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but it was so good. Dark, creepy, thriller, mysterious, and the ending will blow you away. Like, the ending was so good. Second one is Reboot by Amy Tintera. Amy Tintera is the author of Ruined and Avenged. The main character, Ren, she is dead for 178 minutes. So that is a very long time to be dead. Because of that, when she comes back to life, she is barely human. And if you're only dead for, say, 5 minutes, you still have a lot of humanity left. And what this book is about is this agency, and they're recruiting these kind of undead people to fight and stuff like that. And obviously the longer you've been dead, the less humanity you have, which means you're a stronger soldier. And it's about this girl called Ren, and she's given the task to train some of the new recruits. And one of those new recruits is Callum, who was dead for like 22 minutes, I think. So he is still practically human, and it's about Ren and Callum's journey together, self-discovery, dark because undead. There's a lot of fighting, blood, gore, but it is so good. There's a sequel called Rebel, and I haven't read it yet, but I do really want to. Right, the next books I have for you are a whole series, and that is The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefwater. So we have The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, Blue Lily Lily Blue, and The Raven King, which I have just finished. I say this is a autumn read because it's weird. It's quite a unique storyline. If you haven't heard about The Raven Boys yet, 1, where have you been? And 2, it's about this girl called Blue who lives with a family of psychics, and she meets these posh boarding school boys, and the boys are on a quest to find a dead Welsh king called Glendower. So Blue teams up with them, and it's about them finding this dead Welsh king. It's about magic, it's supernatural, it's amazing, and it will leave you crying in a puddle on the floor because it is just that damn good. So there are 4 of them, but I've just finished The Raven King, and it is probably one of the best books I've ever read. I do have a review coming up for that as well soon. Raven Boys: magic, darkness, demons, dead Welsh kings and psychics, friendship and family. Next one we have is Unwind by Neil Shusterman. This is just messed up. I mean, I don't know how else to describe this. Before you turn 16, your parents can decide if they want to get rid of you or not. So it's like having an abortion, but when you're actually 16 years old. I mean, like, your parents can literally turn around to you and say, we do not want you anymore, we're gonna have you unwound, which is like their body is harvested for parts. Yeah, and it's about these three friends and they're running away from being unwound because they really don't want to be. I mean, who would want to be unwound? And there is one scene in particular that completely creeped me out, and that is when you like read firsthand about an unwinding, and you can the description is so vivid and it's written so well that it generally feels like you are lying on that surgical table having your body cut open, I think I had to stop reading it in the middle of that passage because I was just like, oh. But it is such a good book. There are 4 of these, I think. Personally, I think you can just read the one because I read this one. I haven't read the other 3 and I found this really good. It stopped on an ending where, it was kind of open, so it could have been left like that, or there could have been a sequel, and there was a sequel. But to be honest, I think you can just read the first one if you really want to. But I do plan to read the rest of them because these are so good. Blood, gore, creepiness, as I've just said, and dystopians, very political issues that happen during this book. So if you don't like politics, stay away because it's political, philosophical, and it'll really get you thinking about things. Next, onto a hardcover, and that is Revoir by Stephanie Garber. This is the best circus carnival book I have read. I do not normally like carnival circus books. I just don't like them. There's something about them that I just really don't enjoy. This is probably the only circus book that I've given 5 out of 5 stars to, because it's set in this dark, creepy circus, and there's magic, there's death and blood and mystery. What happens is Scarlett and Teller have been invited to Revoir by the actual leader of the circus, and when they get to the circus, Teller is kidnapped and it's up to Scarlett to try and find her sister. So she makes her way through the circus, through the dark tunnels and the mysteries, just to try and find her sister, and there's so many plot twists. I remember reading this, I think it took me a few hours to read it, and when I was finishing the book, I was sat on the train home from university, and as I was finishing the book, I was literally sat there like, what? I need book 2 straight away because this is amazing. It is so good. It's so mysterious, dark, thrilling. Definitely recommend this if you want to cozy up and have a little bit of a thrill. Alright, the next one is a very popular book, and one that I would recommend to anyone and everyone that I see, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Oh my god, this, I don't know where to start even explaining what the plot of this book is, because it's massive, and all I can really say is that it's about this guy called Laszlo Strange, and he works in a library. So he works with books, and he's just the most wonderful, amazing character ever. Laszlo Strange, he goes on this quest to find the city of Weep, which is a lost city, and he has thrown himself into researching this city his entire life. So I think he's about 20 years old in this, and during 16 years of his life he has researched Weep, and when he gets the chance to go to Weep, that's when everything goes a bit crazy and things start to happen. Amazing writing. It was very hard to pull me away from this book. I was glued to the pages. And also there is a blue-skinned goddess in the book who is literally like a teenager. I think she's like 18, 19, and it follows her as well with her friends who live in Weep. So you've got the blue-skinned goddesses and gods who live in Weep, and then you've got Laszlo Strange, who is on his way to Weep to find out why the city is lost, why it's so deserted, why there's trouble brewing around every corner. It's beautiful as well. How can you not want this book? Because it's just great. And the ending will just blow you away. Next one that I have is another bookish book, and that is Ink and Bone by Rachel Caine. This is about a guy called Jess Brightwell who comes from a family of smugglers. He is given the opportunity to go to the Great Alexandrian Library to become a scholar, but one of the biggest twists in this book is that owning your own personal copy of a book is illegal, which is why Jess's family go into the smuggling trade, because they smuggle these books to the rich, the wealthy. Jess comes from a smuggling family. Owning your own books is illegal. What he realises is that the Great Alexandrian Library isn't what he thinks it is. There's a lot of mysteries that need to be unravelled. There's friendship, there's romance, and this was bloody brilliant. It was so good. There's two other books. There's Paper and Fire, which is the second one, and Ash and Quill, which is the third one, and I believe there is a fourth one coming out. I will definitely be reading those two very, very, very soon. The next one is another circus carnival book, and that is Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody. This I gave 3 out of 5 because, like I said before, I'm not a massive fan of circus carnival books. This was still good though. This is about a girl called Serena who lives in the Gomorrah Festival, and her dad is the proprietor of this huge festival. And what happens is Serena can make her own illusions, but one day her illusions start getting killed off one by one, and it's about Serena trying to find out who is murdering her family. It's just mysterious, very, very dark, very dark. There's a lot of blood and fighting, and it is actually quite good. For me to give a circus book 3 out of 5, that's a very, very good sign. I think this is Amanda Foody's debut novel as well, so props to her for writing a great debut novel about a dark travelling circus with death and magic and romance. The penultimate book that I have for you is a very high dark fantasy book, and this is another debut novel, and this is Godblind by Anna Stevens. This is a very, very high dark fantasy. This is full of blood and fighting and death and more blood and even more fighting and gods and romance and treachery and family drama, and it's how can I describe it? There's families that go to war with each other and families that believe in different gods. So you've got the red gods and you've got the something else gods, I don't know. Yeah, you've got the red gods and then you've got good gods. I mean, the red gods are ones that are evil and they persuade you to kill. It is really dark, and I do recommend this for more mature readers. I would say age 16 up because there's quite a bit of sexual content in here. There's loads and loads of explicit content, such as swearing and stuff like that. Be warned. It is very bloody, very thrilling. It did take me quite a long time to read it because high fantasy normally does take me quite a while to read because I have to kind of immerse myself in the world. And the last book on my list is This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab, which is book 1 in the Monsters of Verity duology. I have finally read this. If you watched my readathon video for last week, you'll know that I started and read this last week. This is about a young girl called Kate Harker, and she has been kicked out of every school that she has ever been to. She burnt down a chapel. So Kate's one perspective. Then you have another perspective in the book, which is August Flynn, and he is a monster. What he can do is he can drain people's souls with music. He can use his violin, he can play one note, that is all it takes, one note, and he's got the soul of someone. But he doesn't like doing it. He's a good monster. He's a friendly monster. August is sent to the school that Kate is going to spy on Kate because the Flynns and the Harkers are enemies. They control 2 different sides of the city. The Flynns believe Harker is cruel and corrupt, and Harker believes that Flynns are cruel and corrupt, and it's all corruptness and bleh. August is sent to Kate's school to spy on Kate, to get close to her, to see what's going on with her dad, see what plans they have, basically just to spy on her. And they get talking and they both realise that actually they aren't that different from each other. And it's about them uncovering the monsters in the city, fighting the monsters in the city, and they both go on this great journey of self-discovery. Basically, it's not as cheesy as it sounds, okay? It isn't, but it's so good. I mean, there's monsters, and there was one scene near the end that was just fantastic. It was so well written, it was brilliant, it was vivid imagery, and I finished this book and I needed to read Our Dark Duet straight away, but I couldn't because I need to read university books. Reading Our Dark Duet will have to wait because university takes priority, but this is definitely worth the read if you want a thrilling autumn read. So that's it for my top 10 autumn reads. I do have reviews for most of these on my blog, so I will link my reviews in the description box below, and I do have a review for Ink and Bone on my channel, so I will also link that in the description box below if you want a video version instead of a blog version. So yeah, that is it for today's video. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you've got any questions or comments or any more recommendations for autumn reads that you want to send to me, leave them in the comment box below. And I do post every Tuesdays and Fridays, but since I am doing the weekly readathon vlogs now, I will be posting those readathon vlogs and only the readathon vlogs on Mondays. So readathon vlogs on Mondays and normal videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. And if you want notifications for when I post a new video, just click on the bell icon below and you'll get a notification on your phone or laptop. I will see you in the next video. Bye!